on.
Hi, my name is Jesse Barleen with Senior Insurance Marketing. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this morning and also thank Michelle for setting it up and for presenting. We love our partnership with Cigna, and we think this flexible choice cancer and heart attack plan is one of the best ones out there. Their e-app makes it impossibly easy to sell and to turn an app in, so I'm sure more about that from Jim. At the end of the session, I'll do a little of my own housekeeping, tell you about some of the exciting things that are going on here at Senior Insurance Marketing with our incentive trip that we do every year and a couple other things. With that, I'd just like to turn it over to Jim. Jim, take it away.
Jesse and Michelle, good morning, everybody. As Jesse and Michelle said, we're going to talk about Flexible Choice, which is our cancer, heart attack, and stroke product. Just a little background, I've been an agent, so I know your time is valuable, and that I am not going to try and drone on about anything. I'm going to try to get you the information you need in a timely fashion and get us in and out of this webinar. With that, though, please keep in mind we are here for you. So if you do have a question, please type it in the chat or the question box. At the end, we will go through those and the ones that we do think pertain to the group as a whole. And if we don't answer your question, please understand we aren't ignoring or avoiding your question. We will get back to you, either Jesse or somebody at the Senior Insurance Marketing staff, or one of our staff will get back to you on an individual basis to make sure all your questions are answered. That I commit to you. So with that, let's go ahead and get going. Now, as we talk about flexible choice, we build value propositions, and there's a lot of reasons why you would want to offer flexible choice. There's financial benefits that help complement other insurance your clients may have, whether it's Medicare, whether it's MA product, whether it's an under 65 health insurance, all type of products. This is a great supplemental coverage for. We do have it in both over under 65 markets in almost every state, except for those of you in California. So the ages for this product are 18 to 99. In California, they're 18 to 64. Now, as we show later in the webinar, there's affordable premiums. So the great thing about this as a supplemental health product, the premiums are very affordable for most clients. You'll be able to find coverage that fits almost every budget. So as you're sitting down talking with your clients about how great an addition a product like this is, how can we help protect them from financial loss, God forbid if they have cancer or if they have a heart attack or stroke, you can find them a premium that works with most budgets. So it's a really nice thing to cross-sell with. It's a lump sum benefit that there's very little paperwork. It's not a big hassle to file a claim with us on this product. It doesn't matter what insurance they might have. And as long as they pay the premiums and lasts the policy, it's guaranteed renewable for life. So they don't have to worry about paying for insurance for a while and then all of a sudden it disappears and they didn't use it. So let's talk about financial security and the need for this type of product. If you look at research, roughly 1 in 2 men are going to be diagnosed with some type of cancer in our lifetime, and roughly 1 in 3 women. So it is an epidemic in our country, cancer is, and I believe it's such an epidemic that it really doesn't make the news anymore. We're so used to sitting and hearing somebody got cancer, somebody's had a heart attack or stroke. Those two things are such an epidemic, we're used to them. And it's unfortunate we think, oh gosh, how horrible when we hear somebody has or had a stroke or had a heart attack. But frankly, we're used to it by now. And it's a shame that it's become that normal in life. So it's projected in a couple years, $174 billion will be spent to cover the cost of cancer by U.S. citizens. And stroke is the leading cause of disability in our country. So the good news for your customers are death rates are declining, so they're living longer. But what happens is if they don't have financial protection in place, things like bills, etc., start piling up. So instead of just dying, they're actually living, and sometimes burdening themselves, their family, with extra costs that they don't have to have if they have a product like this. And there's roughly 19 million people in our country will be cancer survivors by 2024. 7 years away, and we're going to have 19 million cancer survivors. We're at 14.5 now. That means 4.5 million people will be cancer survivors in the next 7 years. Cancer research and medicine, etc., is growing at an astounding rate. And as a matter of fact, a lot of it is up in front of things like their approval, etc. So we'll talk about what that means to a product like this and why that still would benefit your customers. So we need supplemental insurance. It's really simple. Even if your clients have, let's say they have an F Medicare supplement, or they have an MA plan, or they're under 65 and have insurance, there are a lot of costs associated with cancer that may not and probably are not covered. Things like transportation, health care, child care, other medications. One thing I talk about a lot as we talk, if you're somebody who sells Medicare supplement, for example, and gets cancer, well, I said just a moment ago, cancer research and everything is going so fast. Actually, a lot of the current cancer drugs and treatments are deemed still experimental by Medicare. And that by default, they are not covered by a care supplement policy. So if your client wants what their doctor would probably prescribe nowadays, or may prescribe, which may be an experimental medication, if they have a coverage like a flexible choice cancer plan, it's going to give them a lump sum benefit that they can use to pay for that. An MA client, and they PK, I'm pretty covered. A lot of our agents are using flexible choice to at least cover $5,000 of their out-of-pocket exposure, something simple like that. And there are under 65 clients, there's a lot of co-insurance and deductibles that they have to take care of. So there are a lot of reasons why your clients would want this type of coverage, even if they've already got a med sub advantage or are under 65 and have traditional health insurance. Let's talk other things. Insured or chosen beneficiary has received the payment. They can use that money for anything. So on your screen right now, it says they can use it for deductibles, insurance, drugs, prescription drugs, rehab, etc., etc. You can use it for so much more. Let's say somebody contributes to paying the bills in the house. Well, what if you need to pay a mortgage or a car bill? We have zero constraints on what your client or their beneficiary is this product the benefit for once it's paid. So pay all their bills regardless. So let's say they are diagnosed with cancer, submit a claim form and get the payment, and the mortgage is due, and they've been going to treatment, so they didn't work, and they're on short-term disability. They can use this coverage to pay for that stuff. Again, we don't care what it's paid for. The last thing we want a client to do that's diagnosed with cancer or who has a heart attack or a stroke is to worry about how they're going to pay for stuff. So again, why this type of product is so important. Now, let's talk about the basic product and the features involved. As I said before, it's available in most states, 18 to 99. It cuts off at a max age of 64 for any of you in California. It lumps sum benefit anywhere from $5,000 to $100,000. Now, to be honest, most of our coverage is somewhere in the $15,000 to $20,000 range. We do some that are the full $100,000, but the house our agent seems to be in that maybe 10, 12, 15, 20,000 range to cover the things that I talked about earlier. And it's also a way to keep the coverage with most of our clients' budget. Your payments can be made directly to the insured or their beneficiary. It's not only to the insured. And they lock in the rate at their age of purchase, so it's really nice. They don't have to worry about it going up over time. The way they can do coverage choices is awesome. They can individual, couple, single parent, family coverage. So if they do family coverage, it covers the spouses and all their kids. It's a really nice coverage. We also have a bunch of riders, which we'll talk about in a little more detail later. But reoccurrence and restoration riders, basically those are the same thing. Reoccurrence is on cancer and restoration is on heart attack and stroke. And it's easy to pay for. Most of our clients, as with most of our products, are set up on an EFT bank trap to just pay their coverage. Now, how does it work? Basically, the client pays their premium and they have coverage as soon as their policy is in effect. Now, they have this one of three ways. You can sell cancer standalone. You can sell it attack and stroke standalone, or you can sell it as one of those with the other one as a rider. So basically, cancer, heart attack, and stroke. So it gives you options. That way, if you have a client that says, hey, you know what, I really do need cancer insurance, agents can sell them just cancer insurance. But if heart attack and stroke, their family has a history of heart attack or stroke, or some other cardiovascular diseases, and they're concerned about heart attack or stroke, they can just a heart attack and stroke. I'm a proponent that some coverage is better than none. And this is how it works as far as the coverage and when it pays out. The client is diagnosed with cancer, and this is internal cancer, we 100% lump sum benefit. Now, what's great about our product, and if you're selling a product like this now, I ask you to look at it and see if it does it, because there's very few, if any, others out there that do this. But we 100% of our cancer benefit for carcinoma in situ, and basically that's not metastasized cancer. So most of the others that I've seen pay a lesser benefit, 25% of the benefit, etc. We pay 100% a lump sum benefit for carcinoma in situ. So it's one of those things that will help you as you're trying to figure out, hey, I offer this or do I offer this other company's product. When you look at flexible choice, carcinoma in situ is covered 100% by cancer benefit, where most, if not all, other plans do not cover that at 100%. Now, we talked riders earlier. This is how our reoccurrence rider happens. So if it has it and gets cancer and then it has a reoccurrence rider, there's a percentage of benefit based on how long until you get advice that they have cancer or active treatment. So if it's within 2 years, there's no additional coverage. At 3 years to 5 years, it's 25% of the benefit, 5, 10, 75. And let's say had cancer and then they go more than 10 years, but they're unfortunately diagnosed with cancer again, they actually get 100% of the benefit after 10 years. So it's a really nice rider to look at. And this is how our heart attack and stroke works. So they have what I call the big three, right? Heart attack, need a heart transplant or stroke, 100% of the benefit paid out. However, if they need something smaller, and I did air quotes even though I know you guys can't see those, because if they need aortic surgery or an angioplasty or stent, trust me, I know that's not a small procedure, but smaller than getting a heart transplant. But if they need any of those lesser things, they're still going to get somewhere between 10 and 25% of the benefit. They're going to reserve the remainder of the benefit if they have a stroke, heart attack, or need a heart transplant. Max benefit amount, a heart attack and stroke obviously is 100%, but can get a portion of the benefit earlier if they have any of those needs. The restoration benefit works basically the same way, but it's years since last heart attack, stroke, or heart transplant. So other than that, exactly the same, 25%, years 2 through 5, 75% years 5 through 10, and after 10 years, 100%. Now we'll offer some riders. We talked about the recurrence and restoration rider, but we all have a hospital indemnity benefit rider, an ICU indemnity benefit, a hospital and ICU indemnity benefit, and a return of premium rider. I'm going to let you guys look through the riders as you go to selling these to your clients. I've learned, again, as an agent now working for a carrier, it keeps on not only your but also your clients' and their needs. So your client's biggest thing is, hey, what if I never have cancer? Why buy a cancer plan? You know, let's talk about the ROP rider. If they're about additional coverage, what if I'm ever in the hospital because of this? You know, you could give a hospital indemnity benefit rider. So those are individual, but definitely available, and some really great riders on this product to talk about for the clients that it makes sense for. I get, where is it available? And the better question is, where is it not available? As you can see right now, it's available in all 48 states plus D.C. in the U.S., except for those of you that would be selling in New York or Virginia. So almost literally available everywhere in the country. We're selling a lot of this. This is our best-selling, by far, supplemental health product behind Medicare Supplement. Let's talk about where it's available. It is available, as you can see, everywhere. But what's great about this chart as well is it actually shows you the different things available on it. So it shows you the riders on it like ROP or hospital indemnity. This product availability chart, by the way, is available on Agent View, and it shows all of the products we offer. So if you are wondering, hey, what if I sell in Texas? Is there new Cigna Health and Life Insurance Medicare Supplement and Flexible Choice there? You can actually pull up this whole chart and find out. And then you could sell our great Medicare Supplement and this awesome Flex Choice Cancer, Heart Attack, and Stroke product to your clients. You know, I talked about rates and affordability for your clients and trying to be able to fit this in most, if not all, budgets. So let's give you some sample rates. We're talking about a man, he's 45 years old. He wants basically $20,000 in a cancer policy. He wants a recurrence rider at $20,000. He heart attack and stroke at $20,000. Restoration benefit at $20,000. So basically, he's saying, I need $20,000 in coverage. What do we do? As you on your screen for 45-year-old for all that coverage, and by the way, the bucks are separate. So it's $20,000 in this scenario. If they have a heart attack, then the cancer policy is depleted too. If they have cancer, they've got $20,000 in coverage. If they have a heart attack and stroke, they've got an additional $20,000 in coverage. So to be clear on that, they're separate buckets of money. And see right now, this client for all that coverage is only going to be $54 a month. If we look at this, we're talking about 38-year-olds right now, so they're going to be working. They're going to have usually insurance through their employer, traditional health insurance. But look at the coverage they're getting. They're getting $20,000 in cancer, recurrent rider at $20,000, heart attack and stroke at $20,000, the duration benefit at $20,000, and a $200 a day hospital and ICU rider at only $89 a month. So if you're somebody who's used to selling Medicare Supplement, for example, and talking about premiums that are $130, $150, $200 a month for a Medicare Supplement, this is a great opportunity to talk to those clients. And if somebody who sells, again, under 65, this is a great opportunity to talk about share or deductibles and co-payments, etc. And if you sell MA, great opportunity to talk about, maxing out out-of-pocket expense. Now, I know the two examples I showed you are not MedAdvantage or MedSup age clients, but it still just gives you an idea of what the premiums will be. So let's talk about underwriting. I always get, the product sounds great, but if the underwriting's tough, I want something easy to talk to my clients about. So if you're showing somebody cancer, heart attack, and stroke, the question is going to be in regardless of what you sell them, whether it's cancer, whether it's heart attack and stroke, or whether it's both. Have they been diagnosed or received medical advice or treatment that they have AIDS, C, or HIV, just regardless of what they buy. And just getting the cancer portion, you're going to ask questions 2 and 3 that are on the bottom of your screen now. The last 10 years, have they been diagnosed, treated, hospitalized, etc., for cancer, leukemia, Hodgkin's disease, etc.? And the last 5 years, have they been diagnosed or advised by a medical professional to get a test related to cancer that hasn't been completed or did not come back with a no result? Treating questions for a cancer plan. By the way, there is no tobacco use question on our app. And then heart attack and stroke is very similar. They're going to ask that first HIV/AIDS question, and then ask these questions 4 and 5. If they're in all three, all cancer, heart attack, and stroke together, it's simply the 5 underwriting questions. If the answer is yes to any of those questions, we will not offer them coverage. Please don't waste your time or their time by trying to sell them a policy if you know they should answer yes to any of these. Add different riders. There are additional questions, so just keep that in mind. These are the hospital indemnity and ICU rider questions. The U questions. And some important things that we want to talk about. Let's say they're purchasing an hospital indemnity rider. Well, it's important to have a conversation with them because they must attest or must say that they have minimum essential coverage before they can purchase that rider. So it's very important for you to talk to them about that. And this is some of the things that benefit them. I talked about these, but again, lump sum benefit paid directly to the insured or their chosen beneficiary. They don't have to coordinate benefits. We don't care where they go, what services they're getting. We're going to pay the benefit regardless. They own their policy, so it's not an employer-owned or funded policy. We don't care what other insurance they have. That's our flexible. That's why it's called flexible choice. Pick how much coverage they want a rider, etc. And then lock in at age and guaranteed renewable for life. So it's really easy. So talk about this, and we talk about who's interested, different policy options to complement medical coverage. and that it helps add financial security to your clients. Because, again, if you think about it, if you or your loved one is diagnosed with cancer or has a heart attack or a stroke or needs a heart transplant, the last question you want to ask is, how am I going to pay for this? That's the first question I ever want somebody diagnosed with cancer to ask. I want them to ask, how am I going to get better? What treatment, what's the best treatment I can get? That's what I want people to think about. Not how am I going to pay for this? What's it going to do financially to my family? With that, we're at the end of the presentation. So, Jano, you wanted to talk before you hop on. Just one quick thing, because I know Jesse's going to talk about Senior Insurance Marketing Trip, and I haven't said it near enough, but Senior Insurance Marketing is one of our premier marketing partners. They're one of the best out there. So if you guys work with them now, great, you picked a great one. If you don't work with them, I would strongly suggest you reach out to Jesse and the staff there. I work with them personally. I'm actually going to be in their office in a couple weeks talking to them again. So the only other thing is that we do offer a trip here. The great thing about our trip, if you haven't been selling us so far this year, is our trip qualification just started March 1st. You aren't 5 months behind if you just started or are about to just start. And our trip, which will be to Banff, Alberta, Canada next year, we're staying at the Fairmont, which is an amazing place up there. For supplemental health and our final expense, you actually get triple premium for qualifying premiums. So you sell, let's say you sell a $200 a year cancer plan, that actually gets you $600 in trip qualifying credits. So with that, please go ahead and type some questions if you have some questions in the question box. I'm going to put up some contacts here at Cigna. And Jesse, go ahead and take it away and see what you wanted to say. But thanks, everybody, for your time.
Jim, thank you for the wonderful presentation and the very, very kind words about us here at Senior Insurance Marketing. If you have any questions about any of the presentation that we can help, or if you just want to get to know Senior Insurance Marketing a little bit better and get contracted or anything at all, you can email us at info@simkt.com. You can also call us at 877-800-8080. And as Jim was saying, we do have a yearly incentive trip that we put on ourselves. Here we are going to Secrets Akumal in Cancun. It's very attainable. It only takes about, it's called 110 SIM points is what we call it, which is about 120 apps, 130 depending on what sort of application you're writing. Very attainable. We also do cash rewards for 50 SIM points and up, and we do little monthly incentives as we go along the year. So we keep you guys engaged. We try to keep you guys rewarded for writing business with us. We really appreciate all the business that you do. I'd encourage you to visit our website at www.simkt.com. And that's really all I have. Thanks again to Jim for those words. And like he said, he spoke a little bit about the Cigna trip, and I myself haven't been on one, but you don't hear any better recommendations than going on a Cigna incentive trip. They truly are top-notch. And anyone that I've ever spoke to that's been on one really, really enjoys it. That's really all I have, and if you have any questions, send them to Jim. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Jesse. So there hasn't been a lot of questions. I know that we shot through a ton of information in a very, very short time. That's by design, because, again, I know when you're sitting listening to me or anybody else talk about products, well, it's important to grow your business and add things like this to your portfolio. You aren't out getting customers and putting them on the table. So if you do questions, the best reach you will have at Cigna is our agent resource line. That's why it's at the top of your screen right now. Please give them a call if you have any questions, or maybe better yet, reach out to Jesse and the team at Senior Insurance Marketing, and they will be able to take care of anything you need, any questions. If they don't know the answer, they're going to reach out to me directly to get the answer, to make sure you get all accurate information. So with that,